Hi everybody and welcome to episode 0 of this Starflight playthrough. Now it's episode 0 because I'm going to cover kind of the setting for the game, talk a little bit about the primary and secondary missions of what we have to do while we're playing the game. We'll talk about the ship and the crew. We'll talk a lot about the star map. That's definitely key to understand exactly where we're exploring in this game and what we need to do. And then kind of talk about our first objective for episode 1. So yeah, stick around and we're going to go into the details. Now, if you're not too familiar with Starflight, it was originally a PC game that was then converted over to the Genesis and Mega Drive in the early 90s. And I definitely had this game when I was a kid. I don't know whether I bought it or borrowed it from somebody, but I was definitely too young to really understand how the game worked or what the objective of the game was based on the heavy story that it has. So I've been looking forward to coming back and figuring out how to get through this game since I had it originally. It was a lot of fun and I want to get back into it now and see if we can actually get through the story. So let's jump in and I'll take you through it. Now you can see I already have a save file started, and that's mainly because I already named the ship and I named the crew. So let's talk a little bit about the setting. It's based in the year 4620, so a decent chunk into the future. We're part of an organization called Interstellar that kind of operates within the galaxy. We have our own smart starship that we command. And so within that, we have a crew that we're going to create ourselves, kind of assign, hire and assign people to the ship. And yeah, we have like some objectives from Interstellar for what we need to do while we're playing the game. So I'm going to pull up our first kind of communication from them. So as you can see, bon voyage, you are about to embark on your first mission. In your bank account, you will find the amount of 50,000 monetary units, credits basically. This money is to be spent training your crew, configuring your ship and purchasing the necessary materials. Of course, you may wish to leave some portion of this in the bank, always a good idea. At this stage of the operation, our primary goal is to gather information. Consequently, your objectives are to seek out and explore strange new worlds, boldly go where no man has gone before, can sense the inspiration for these, establish contact with any sentients, capture and bring back non-sentient life forms, record alien life form data, bring back alien artifacts, bring back any valuable minerals including endurium, which is our fuel effectively in the game, and keep from getting brutally killed, which is kind of not needed as an objective. It's always important to keep that one in mind. We have little information to offer concerning what you might find. We suggest, however, that you avoid the area of space around the coordinates 135 by 84, since that is where we lost contact with 2 of our earlier ships. Scout reports indicate a high density of minerals in the mountainous regions of the innermost planet of our system. Further, we have found information that leads us to believe that there may be some ruins of the old empire at coordinates 17 north by 162 east on the second planet of the neighboring K-class system. We have also received some indications of alien activity in the system 175 by 94. Good luck and a safe return. So as you can see from this first message, we get a few little hints of where we should start, a few things to look at. So let's have a look at the map quickly. We can bring that up and we can look at some of the coordinates. So we actually start at 125 by 100, as you can see on the map. Well, you can't really see it on the map directly, but that's kind of in the middle where we are right now. And so the circles on the star map represent different empires within the galaxy that are known. Now they have these little symbols kind of vertically within those circles to represent which empire that is. And some of these circles have the same symbol, so that's probably the same empire. But we don't yet know who that race is. So we'll be figuring that out as we play the game. I'll keep track of that as we talk through the map. And then the blue circles on here represent nebulas of space. The main thing that the instruction manual tells you that your shields don't work in nebulas, but we'll see if there's anything to explore in any of those as we go. Might find something of interest. And then the different colors on here represent all the different star systems. The different colors represent different types of star. I don't think that is of importance, but we will see. And finally, there are wormholes, which are called fluxes in the game, that can help us travel around a little quicker. So as we discover those, we'll mark them on the map as well. And also keep track of our travels through space on the map, so we can review that as we play. So yeah, we have a lot of space to explore, and that's going to be where we go from in the middle there on the map. So let's have a quick look at the ship and the crew. I can jump into that here. So you pretty much have the one ship that everybody starts with, but you get to name it. So right now it's the ISS Abius. And so we kind of start with basic things: class 1 engines, shields, and armor, and 1 weapon. I think that's it isn't actually a 3. I think that's the weapon type. I could be wrong. And a couple of cargo pods. And then we also have the TV. That's the terrain vehicle. So we can also upgrade that as well. So we have a couple of things that we can buy in there. I'll come back to this in a little bit, but we definitely want to put a couple of these upgrades on to get started, just to make it easy. And then yes, we will also want to upgrade the engines as we go to make it so we don't burn so much fuel while we traverse around the galaxy. That tends to get really expensive really quick, so we're definitely going to want to put some upgrades in there. And then yeah, I'll head over to the crew manifest. So in here, we basically have 5 positions, crew assignments within the ship: science officer, navigator, engineer, communications, and the doctor for healing people. And so if you look above here, Cooper, who's the one that's currently selected, they can get skills in each of those 5 disciplines, but you kind of want to specialize each one to the role they're assigned to on the ship. So you can see that that Cooper right now is currently assigned as communications, and that is the strongest thing that he's skilled up in. So you can train people in any of these, but you kind of want to focus on individual traits. So you could move around if you needed to, but ideally you won't have to. And so yeah, we can go through the crew right here. So I'll take you through the list. So Cooper is our communications officer. He is a Aloan. I'm assuming it's Aloan. You can see from the picture they're a plant-based species, so definitely not human. Kind of cute looking. Fun little drawing there that's actually in the manual for that race. And then Radcliffe is the next one. He is a Velox, or they are a Velox, which is another picture we have, kind of an insectoid type race. Also kind of looks cool with the ship in the backdrop there. Maybe doing a bit of a trade. They're currently assigned as our navigation officer. And then we have Herndon, who is a human, who is currently assigned as the science officer. We have Barman, which is another Velox insectoid assigned to the engineering station. And finally we have Vash, who is currently our doctor, who is also a human. So different species have different traits, tends to affect their learning rates typically. So as you train them up, their learning rate will kind of control how fast they go up the scale there. And there's a couple of species that don't work well together. They have conflicts, and so by pure coincidence, I did roll all the kind of crew names and the crew species and didn't get a conflict, so that kind of worked out. But the doctor will definitely help keep people alive, and I think if we do get into trouble, we might have to come back and recruit more crew. We'll see if that happens or not. Hopefully not. So that's the crew. Let's have a look. Yes, so some other things that we want to take into account. The first message that it gave us from Interstellar didn't technically call it out. You don't get it in the first message, but I believe you will get it in the next day message. But one of the other things that we're tasked to do is look into the cause of stellar flares, the current system that our home planet is in, as well as other systems, have seen stellar instability and stellar flares that potentially risk the homeworld. And so we're tasked with also trying to figure out exactly what the cause of that is, and if possible, prevent it. So a secondary objective for that goal is to also find planets that are colonizable. So we could potentially move people from the homeworld to a different system if we fail in our first mission of preventing the flares. So there's a couple of different competing things in there. That's kind of the primary story goal for the game, is to kind of uncover what the flares are and stop them. And then we have other things that we can do around that, like finding other species and collecting samples and stuff like that. So We'll definitely want to come back and get some upgrades for the ship. But just to show you, in here in the trade depot is where we're gonna go to different planets and find resources and then come back and sell them. And we can use that money to buy more fuel as well as upgrades. So depending on what minerals we find, they're worth different amounts. And then endurium is our fuel, is our hyperphotonic transportation fuel, so faster than light travel. But we can also find artifacts out there. So our science officer can analyze what those are, so we know exactly what benefits we get from artifacts that we can find. And if we don't think they're very useful, we can sell them. But the game does give you 2 that you can purchase right off the bat. The flat device is one we're definitely going to. I think we're going to buy both of these. The manual does tell you what both of these do. The flat device does make it so if your terrain vehicle runs out of fuel, it automatically teleports back to the ship. That's very useful, and it's going to speed up exploration for us and mineral gathering. And then I actually can't remember what the Winding Orb one does, so let's buy both of these, and we'll have our crewmen tell us what they are. So we're going to quickly pop into space. So we're going to jump out into the solar system that we start in, and then we're going to have the science officer tell us a little bit about these. Okay, so the flat device is the one that teleports the terrain vehicle back to the ship. That's really handy because otherwise you would have to drive it back with fuel. So this will kind of double our exploration distance. We'll get to see that shortly. And then the Winding Orb makes Spemin, that word, yeah, obsequious, which I think means docile, effectively. So Spemin is one of the species. There's a picture of the Spemin actually in the book as well, so I'll show you that. That's a species that I guess we're going to run into at some point. So we'll keep those. But while we're here, so this is our ship. This is the space station, the interstellar space station that's within our home solar system. I'm going to quickly dock, or land in this case, but we'll get back to the station because we want to buy a couple of upgrades. So yeah. We've kind of covered the map, we've covered kind of our objectives for the game. What are we going to do next? So first thing we're going to do is definitely buy a couple of upgrades. So we want some more cargo pods just to give us more capacity to bring stuff back. And if we can, let's upgrade the engines. We have 11,000 credits. One interesting thing you have to do in this game is that in order to upgrade, you have to sell what you currently have, which is kind of weird. So you have to sell your engines so that you don't have any engines. And then you have to buy the next set of engines, which is a little strange. But there you go, we bought class 2 engines. Did I leave any money for the thing? So we have pontoons on the train vehicle. That means that at least if we drive over any water, we won't immediately sink, which is definitely a bad thing. Ice runners, snow treads, they all kind of help with terrain navigation. Extra cargo would be useful, but we don't have enough currency for that, and you can have credits. And then a bunch of other things. So I think we'll leave those upgrades for now. Pontoons at least means we won't sink if we accidentally get in any water. Otherwise, the ship has extra cargo capacity, so we had to just bring back what we pick up to the ship and make a couple of trips. So yeah, so our first goal really is going to be kind of a shakedown test. The plan is to go and mine some minerals within the solar system that we start in, kind of get the crew used to how the ship works, get us used to understanding how the terrain vehicle works, and the scanners and things like that. And then we'll pick up some resources and we'll bring it back, sell it for some credits, get some more fuel, and look to go outside of the solar system and start exploring. So that will definitely be in our next episode. Thanks for sticking around, and if you want to know when the next episode is available, subscribe to the channel, give this video a like if you're interested in the series and you were looking forward to Starflight, and I will see you in the next one.